He is once again begging in Washington for sanctions against Brazil and deepening, yes, his double degeneration. He is establishing himself as the first patriot in history who takes pride in making his country worse. And he hasn't realized it yet, but he's also managing to make his father's situation worse, right? And um, before this new incursion uh, for new sanctions that Eduardo is seeking in Washington, he gave statements to the Financial Times at the beginning of the week and said that there is still a wide range of possibilities on Trump's table, that there is plenty of ammunition to impose new sanctions on Brazilian authorities. Uh, he mentioned visa withdrawals. He even brought up tariff issues. In other words, he's even considering the possibility that Trump might impose new tariffs on Brazilian exports, right? And then he says that Minister Alexandre de Moraes, who was targeted by the United States under the Magnitsky Act, which imposes financial restrictions, he says that Minister Alexandre de Moraes would have already exhausted his options after ordering Bolsonaro's house arrest. He's mistaken in this assessment, right? Because, well, the available options for Minister Alexandre de Moraes will not be exhausted until, well, after Jair Bolsonaro is tried in the Supreme Court of Brazil, right? So the case is still before Minister Alexandre de Moraes, who is the rapporteur of the case about, well, the coup. It's still before him, before it's on his desk, the vote that he will have to prepare after uh, the final statements, which, by the way, will be presented today. The deadline is this Wednesday, right, for Bolsonaro and the other 7 members of that crucial group to submit their final statements. And then Alexandre de Moraes will prepare his vote and will ask Cristiano Zanin, who is the president of the first panel, to schedule the trial. And there is no doubt that this trial, the first one, there is no doubt about Alexandre de Moraes' vote, which will be for conviction. And there is also no doubt regarding the majority of votes from the ministers of the first panel. So Bolsonaro will be convicted. Then, yes, maybe the ministers' options will be exhausted. It's even possible that they won't be exhausted even then, nor after the trial, because it will open a debate about where Bolsonaro will serve his sentence, right? Whether in jail, under house arrest, in a military facility, or in a federal police unit. So that debate is still going to happen, right? Yeah. So he's mistaken about the alternatives that are still before Minister Alexandre de Moraes. Now, there's one thing he's right about. There's still a strong possibility that Donald Trump will sanction Brazilian authorities. And it's abundantly clear from the various messages that are being consistently released by Donald Trump himself on his social media platforms and by his trusted aides, as well as by prominent members of the United States Department of State. It's indeed very clear that the current White House administration sees itself as a kind of vigilant guardian of Brazilian democracy and firmly believes that in Brazil,